in the cluttered attic of Margot, who disappeared during a masquerade decades ago, leaving behind rumors of a sinister obsession. The moment Sophie hung the mask on her wall, strange things began happening. At night, muffled giggles filled her room, and faint music played as if from a distant ballroom. When Sophie wore the mask on a whim, she experienced fleeting moments of disorientation, her reflection showing someone else's face, a glamorous yet menacing figure. Haunted by these occurrences, Sophie dug into the mask's history, uncovering tales of Margot's untimely demise after a jilted admirer swore she'd never leave the masquerade alive. The mask, cursed by Margot's restless spirit, ensnared anyone who dared claim it. One evening, Sophie awoke to find herself dressed in an old-fashioned gown, the mask fixed to her face. Her reflection now stared back with Margot's mocking smile. Sophie tried to destroy the mask, but it always reappeared, and every morning she found herself more and more like Margot. The final message, scrawled on her bedroom wall in lipstick, sealed her fate. The show must go on. In the dim light of her attic, Clara discovered an old, dust-laden camera, its leather strap cracked with age. Intrigued, she decided to test it out, keen on capturing memories of her quiet home. After a few trial shots, she turned to her reflection in the attic mirror. As she pressed the shutter, a strange sensation prickled her skin. The flash illuminated the corner of the attic, where shadows twisted unsettlingly. Brushing it off as her imagination, she continued snapping pictures, each click echoing in the stillness. Later that evening, Clara developed the photos, her anticipation mounting. But when the images emerged, her heart dropped. In every shot, lurking behind her were figures, pale, twisted shapes that seemed to leer at her. Panic set in as she realized that in the last photograph, one figure was closer, its eyes glinting with malice. That night, she heard a whisper, a raspy voice calling her name, growing louder until it filled her head. The next day, Clara vanished without a trace. The camera remained, the last photograph still hanging in the air, waiting for another unsuspecting soul to discover its sinister secret. While cleaning out the cluttered basement of her family's century-old manor, Clara discovered an antique locket resting inside a cracked jewelry box. Tarnished yet alluring, the locket seemed to call to her. Curious, Clara opened it, revealing the sepia-toned portrait of a young girl with sorrowful eyes. What she didn't know was that the locket once belonged to Isabella, a child who vanished under mysterious circumstances long ago, leaving whispers of betrayal and rage. Clara began wearing the locket, unaware of the curse it carried. Soon, her nights were plagued by vivid dreams of drowning, and the faint sound of sobbing echoed through the halls. Objects moved on their own, and mirrors reflected more than just Clara's image. One evening, she woke to find water pooling around her bed, and Isabella's voice pleading, "Save me." Panicked, Clara sought answers, uncovering a tragic story of jealousy and murder. Isabella's spirit, bound to the locket, sought not just justice but company in her eternal misery. When Clara tried to return the locket to its resting place, she found it tightly clasped around her neck, the clasp broken and immovable. That night, she found a single message etched into her bathroom mirror. "You're mine now." In the heart of a forgotten cemetery, a young boy named Eli stumbled upon a grave overgrown with brambles. The name was barely legible, etched into crumbling stone: Abigail. Intrigued, he knelt down, brushing away dirt, when a soft whisper filled the air. "Help me," it pleaded, sending shivers down his spine. Eli glanced around, but the cemetery was empty, save for the rustling leaves. Compelled, he pressed his ear against the stone. "They won't let me go," the voice lamented, sending his heart racing. Each day after school, Eli returned to the grave, drawn by the whispers that grew more frantic. "Dig. Find me," it urged, as if urging him to uncover long-buried secrets. His friends warned him to stay away, but the allure of the voice consumed his thoughts. One fateful evening, driven by a mixture of dread and curiosity, Eli brought a small shovel. As he dug, the soil felt unnaturally cold. Suddenly, the ground shifted, and Eli's hands brushed against something slick. Panic surged. He unearthed a small, hollow casket. When he opened it, he screamed as a shriveled hand grasped his wrist, pulling him into darkness. The whispers ceased, and the cemetery fell silent, waiting for the next curious soul. In a dusty attic, Sarah found an old porcelain doll, its painted eyes glinting mischievously in the dim light. Intrigued, she took it home, thinking it would make a perfect gift for her younger sister, Lily. That night, as the house settled into silence, Sarah heard a soft voice drifting from the doll. "Help me," it whispered, sending chills down her spine. Dismissing it as her imagination, she fell into a restless sleep, the doll perched ominously on her bedside table. The next day, Sarah noticed oddities. Lily spoke of a new friend who told her secrets about their family, things no one but Sarah had known. As dazed, the whispers grew clearer, revealing truths that spiraled into darkness. The doll shared the tale of a girl named Eliza, who had gone missing decades ago, a girl who had once owned a similar doll. One stormy night, Sarah awoke to find the doll gone. Panic surged as she rushed to Lily's room, only to discover her sister was missing too. In her place was the doll, now with eyes that seemed to glimmer with malicious glee. The last whisper echoed in Sarah's mind, "You'll find her where I once was lost." The attic door creaked open, inviting her into the darkness. Every night, the light in the old hallway flickered, casting long, dancing shadows that twisted across the walls. Clara had grown accustomed to it, dismissing it as a mere electrical fault. But tonight felt different. The air was thicker, charged with an unsettling energy. As she passed the doorway, the light dimmed, and a shape seemed to flicker just at the edge of her vision. She halted, heart racing, peering into the darkness. Nothing moved, yet she felt a presence behind her. She spun around, but the hallway was empty. Shaking off the feeling, Clara returned to her room. The flickering resumed, more insistent now. Each pulse of light revealed the outline of something, tall, slender, and impossibly still. She grabbed her phone, the screen illuminating the room, and cautiously stepped back into the hallway. The light was brighter now, almost blinding, and as it flickered, the shape morphed, growing closer with each pulse. In an instant, the light went out, plunging her into darkness. Clara was frozen, terror gripping her as she felt cold breath on her neck. The moment the light flickered back on, she gasped, realizing she was not alone. There in the glow stood a version of herself, eyes wide with horror, trapped in a silent scream. The old house creaked with age, but it was the whispers that unsettled Mia most. Each night, as she settled into her bed, the soft murmurs drifted down from the attic. At first, she dismissed them as the wind or her imagination, but they grew more distinct, forming a haunting chorus of unintelligible words. Curiosity gnawed at her until, one fateful night, she resolved to investigate. Grabbing a flashlight, she climbed the rickety stairs, the air growing cold and thick with unease. The whispers swirled around her, now sounding like pleas. "Help us," they seemed to beg. Heart pounding, Mia pushed open the attic door. Dust particles danced in the narrow beam of her light, revealing a cramped space filled with forgotten relics and darkness. As she stepped inside, the whispers intensified, surrounding her like a clamoring crowd. Suddenly, her flashlight flickered and died, plunging her into suffocating blackness. Panic surged. She stumbled back towards the door, but it slammed shut, trapping her inside. The whispers transformed into laughter, low, mocking, and hungry. They were no longer pleas, they were promises. As the last light of her sanity dimmed, Mia realized she was not alone. She never would be again. Emily always loved the old mirror in her grandmother's attic, its ornate frame a relic of the past. One stormy night, seeking solace from the thunder, she climbed up to gaze into it. As lightning illuminated the attic, she noticed something strange. Her reflection smiled back at her, even though her own lips were pressed into a thin line of confusion. Heart racing, she blinked, certain it was a trick of the light. But the reflection remained, grinning wider, eyes glinting with malice. Panic surged through her as she stepped back, but the reflection didn't move. Instead, it raised a hand, beckoning her closer. Against her better judgment, Emily leaned in, drawn by an inexplicable force. Suddenly, the glass rippled like water, and without warning, her reflection lunged forward, yanking her into the mirror's depths. Trapped in the cold, dark void, she screamed, but it echoed only within her mind. Outside, the mirror reflected the attic, still and quiet. In the glass, Emily's reflection now wore her face, wearing a satisfied smile. It whispered softly, "Your turn to be me." And in the stillness of the attic, the last flicker of lightning faded, leaving only the reflection watching, waiting. In the forgotten library of her great-uncle's mansion, Emma unearthed an aged, leather-bound journal. Its cover was scarred with claw-like marks, and its pages smelled faintly of soot. The journal seemed blank at first, but as Emma turned the pages, words began to appear in a childlike scrawl, describing the life of a boy named Samuel who vanished under strange circumstances during a fire. Intrigued, Emma kept the journal close, unaware of its ominous power. Each night, more entries surfaced, recounting Samuel's growing fear of the shadow, a sinister figure that tormented him. Emma began hearing faint whispers while reading, and flickering shadows danced across her room's walls, even in complete darkness. One night, she woke to find the journal open on her desk, the words "I see you" freshly inked. Frightened, Emma researched the mansion's history and discovered that Samuel had tried to warn his family of the shadow before he disappeared. Now, the journal served as a beacon, drawing the shadow to its reader. When Emma attempted to destroy the book, she found it untouched on her nightstand the next morning, its final message chilling her to the core. "You're next." The shadow lingered after that, growing closer each night, until Emma's reflection vanished from every mirror. All that remained was a pair of glowing eyes in the darkness. In a village shrouded by dense woods, whispers of an ancient curse loomed like shadows. Each year, to appease the unseen force that haunted their lands, one villager would vanish, never to be seen again. This year, it was Clara's turn. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the villagers gathered at the old stone altar, their faces pale and eyes full of dread. Clara, trembling but resolute, stepped forward, her heart pounding in her chest. She had volunteered, believing the sacrifice would save her loved ones. As the villagers chanted in hushed tones, Clara felt the cold grip of despair clutching her throat. Suddenly, an eerie howl pierced the night, and the ground trembled beneath her feet. The atmosphere thickened, and she sensed the presence of something sinister. In a panic, she turned to flee. But the villagers, their faces eerily calm, blocked her path. With horror dawning, Clara realized the truth. They weren't here to save her. They were the sacrifice. In an instant, the altar cracked open, revealing a gaping maw of darkness. As she was pulled into the abyss, Clara's screams echoed through the woods, merging with the whispers of the villagers, who smiled knowingly, their offering complete. In a remote corner of Alaska, hikers often report a strange metal tower rising from the forest. It isn't marked on maps, and no one knows who built it. Locals call it the Signal Tower and warn travelers to stay away. A group of friends on a camping trip decided to investigate after hearing the stories. They found the tower at sunset, its rusted frame stretching high into the sky, topped with a blinking red light. Despite the eerie silence around it, no birds, no wind, they pressed on. At the base of the tower, they discovered strange carvings etched into the metal, spirals, geometric shapes, and symbols they couldn't decipher. One of them climbed the rickety ladder to the top, hoping to get a better view. Halfway up, he froze. "There's something up here," he whispered down. The others saw him stop moving, his head tilted as if listening. Then, without warning, he screamed and fell, landing lifeless at their feet. Panicked, the group tried to leave, but their phones and compasses stopped working. A deep, vibrating hum filled the air, and the blinking light atop the tower began flashing faster. One by one, they started hearing voices, faint at first, then louder. Each voice seemed to come from a loved one, calling for help. Against their will, they found themselves walking back toward the tower. By morning, the forest was empty, save for the tower, its light still blinking steadily. Locals say the tower broadcasts a signal no one can trace, and those who hear it never come back. But the real question remains, who or what is it calling? Liam had lived in his apartment for 3 months before noticing the door. It was small, almost hidden, tucked behind a tall bookshelf in the living room. He was sure it hadn't been there before. Curiosity gnawed at him. One night, he moved the bookshelf aside and tried the handle. It was locked. A faint sound came from the other side, like whispers just out of reach. The next day, a key appeared on his kitchen counter. He didn't own a key like that, but it fit the lock perfectly. When Liam opened the door, he found a narrow staircase spiraling down into darkness. Against his better judgment, he descended. The air grew colder with every step, the whispers louder. At the bottom was a small, windowless room. In the center stood a single wooden chair, and on the walls were dozens of Polaroid photos. Liam's stomach turned as he recognized himself in every photo, sleeping, eating, walking to work. Some of the pictures were from angles that weren't possible inside his apartment. Suddenly, the door at the top of the stairs slammed shut. The whispers stopped. Liam ran up the stairs, but the door wouldn't budge. Behind him, the chair creaked. He turned to see a figure sitting in it, its face shrouded in shadow. "You shouldn't have come here," it said in his own voice. The next morning, Liam's landlord found the apartment empty. The only thing left behind was the Polaroid camera, still warm to the touch. In a quiet town, people began vanishing without a trace. The only clue was a mysterious late-night radio signal. Between 3 and 4 a.m., it hijacked frequencies, playing distorted music, faint whispers, and ending with a countdown. Jake, a skeptic, decided to investigate. At 3:13 a.m., his old radio picked up the signal. A haunting melody played, layered with whispers he couldn't quite make out. Then the countdown began. 60, 59, 58. As it ticked down, the whispers grew louder, forming a voice. "We see you." When the countdown hit 0, Jake's lights flickered, and his computer screen filled with static. A message appeared. "You're marked." The next day, black SUVs appeared outside his house. Strangers in dark suits lingered, watching him. When Jake tried to share the recording, the file corrupted. His phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Stop listening." That night, the signal returned, blasting from his speakers, even with the radio off. The countdown began again. Jake unplugged everything, but the whispers grew deafening, and the voice said, "It's time." The next morning, Jake was gone. His apartment was empty, as if he'd never lived there. Conspiracy theorists claim the signal is a recruitment tool, or a beacon for something not of this world. Late at night, the whispers still drift through the airwaves, carrying a chilling warning: "We see you." The Thompsons were thrilled to find an antique mirror at a local estate sale. It was tall, ornate, and perfect for their living room. But from the moment they hung it, strange things began to happen. At first it was small, a flicker in the corner of their vision, a shadow that didn't belong. Then their daughter, Lily, claimed she saw someone in the mirror. "She looks like me," Lily said, "but she's not." One night, as the family watched TV, the mirror's surface rippled. John Thompson dismissed it as a trick of the light, but his wife swore she saw their reflections move when they hadn't. Things escalated when Lily stopped responding to her name. She'd stand in front of the mirror for hours, her lips moving silently. When her mother tried to pull her away, Lily turned and whispered, "She says it's my turn now." The next morning, Lily was gone. Her reflection remained, staring back with a twisted smile. Desperate, the Thompsons smashed the mirror, but all that was left was a black void where the glass had been. Faint laughter echoed from the shards. The mirror was gone, but every window in the house now showed a reflection that didn't match. In the 1980s, a small town called Ashbourne vanished overnight. Maps were updated, records erased, and its name forgotten. Only a handful of conspiracy theorists claim it ever existed. Lila, a journalist, stumbled across a cryptic forum thread about Ashbourne. It mentioned strange experiments and government cover-ups. Intrigued, she followed the breadcrumbs, old newspaper clippings, abandoned roads leading to nowhere, and whispers of a Project Silent Dawn. Eventually, she found the supposed location. A cracked, overgrown road led to a clearing where the town should have been. Instead, she found crumbling foundations and a single intact sign: "Welcome to Ashbourne." As Lila explored, she noticed the air felt heavy and the silence was unnatural. Then she saw them, shadowy figures moving just beyond her vision. Her phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number: "Leave now." Ignoring the warning, she pressed on and found a rusted metal hatch. Inside were files stamped "classified." They detailed experiments with sound waves and mass psychological manipulation. A final note read, "Containment failed. Evacuate immediately." Before she could leave, the shadows surrounded her. Her phone camera captured one last image, the Ashbourne sign, now pristine, with lights glowing faintly in the distance. Lila never returned, and her notes were wiped from the internet. Those who search for Ashbourne claim to hear faint whispers calling them back, but no one who goes looking ever comes home. In 1998, a mysterious TV signal began interrupting late-night broadcasts in small towns across the Midwest. It showed a static-filled screen with a faint figure in the background and a distorted voice repeating, "Do you see me?" At first, it was dismissed as a prank, but the interruptions grew more frequent, always airing at exactly 2:13 a.m. People who watched the broadcast reported strange side effects, headaches, vivid nightmares, and a feeling of being watched. Some claimed the figure in the static was getting closer. One night, David, an insomniac, decided to record the broadcast. He watched as the static shifted, revealing a pale, hollow-eyed figure staring directly at him. The voice whispered, "I see you now." The next morning, David's neighbors found his TV on. The screen cracked. He was gone, with no signs of a struggle except for a single handprint burned into the carpet. After David's disappearance, the broadcast stopped. But conspiracy theorists claim it wasn't random. The towns where it aired have the highest rates of missing persons, and those who watched it still report seeing the figure in their dreams, whispering, "You're next." Some say the phantom broadcast was a failed government experiment in mind control. Others believe it was something far worse, reaching through the static to claim its victims.
What if all you know about the cursed videotape was a lie? The legend of the ring traces back to ancient folklore, where spirits were said to be trapped in images, seeking vengeance. The chilling tale follows a young girl named Samara, whose tragic death fueled her wrath. Some believe this horror was inspired by a real-life phenomenon where discarded tapes led to mysterious vanishings. Over time, variations of the story emerged, each deepening the fear surrounding the tape. Those who dared to watch it faced terrifying apparitions, culminating in their demise. The tape serves as a warning, a reminder that some films are more than entertainment. What if I told you about a night of music and celebration that turned into a chilling tale of tragedy and haunting? In 1996, Ozone Disco in Quezon City, Philippines, was the site of one of the deadliest nightclub fires in history. Over 160 lives were lost in the blaze, many trapped inside the building with no escape. Legend has it that the souls of those who perished never left. People claim to hear faint music, laughter, and screams coming from the abandoned site late at night. Taxi drivers report seeing ghostly figures hailing rides, only for them to vanish once the car stops. Locals believe the spirits linger, reliving their final moments, or seeking justice for the neglect that led to the tragedy. Is it a place forever marked by grief? Or does the Ozone Disco still echo?
One day, her coworker asked, "How's your roommate? She seemed nice when I saw her last week." Sophia froze. She didn't have a roommate. That night, she heard footsteps in the hall. Heart pounding, she grabbed a knife and crept toward the sound. The footsteps led to her bedroom. When she pushed open the door, someone was sitting on her bed, someone who looked exactly like her. The figure smiled, tilting its head. "You don't remember me," it said softly, "but I remember you." Sophia tried to back away. Reflection mouthed silently, "Let me out."
It began as a rumor on forums, a phone number that shouldn't exist. If you called it, a distorted voice would answer, saying only, "Do you want to know the truth?" Most dismissed it as a hoax, but those who called often vanished within days. Mia found the number scrawled on a sticky note at work. Curious, she dialed it. The call connected instantly, though no ringtone played. A voice whispered, "Do you want to know the truth?" She hesitated, then said, "Yes." The voice chuckled. "You already know it." The line went dead, but her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Notifications flooded in, photos of her taken from angles she didn't recognize. One showed her at her desk that morning, another sitting on her couch. The last photo was taken at that moment. It showed her on the phone, with a shadowy figure standing behind her. She turned, but no one was there. The next day, Mia's co-workers noticed her desk was empty. Her apartment, too, was eerily spotless, save for her phone. It buzzed with one final message: "You're part of it now." Conspiracy forums exploded with theories, secret organizations, time loops, or a surveillance system gone rogue. But no one knows where the calls come from or where the callers go. All they know is the number keeps appearing, waiting for someone else to pick up.
It began with strange reports, people hearing static on their devices, even when they were turned off. Phones, TVs, radios, it didn't matter. The static came, always accompanied by faint voices that seemed to whisper names. Ben first noticed it on his phone. Late one night, as he scrolled in bed, the screen flickered. The static started, and through it, he heard his name. "Ben," the voice whispered, faint but unmistakable. He dismissed it as a glitch, but the next day, his coworkers mentioned hearing his name too, on their own devices. "It was like you were calling me," one said, unnerved. That night, Ben unplugged everything. But at 3 a.m., his TV turned on by itself. Static filled the screen, and the whispers returned, louder this time. "We're coming for you, Ben." Terrified, he tried to leave, but his front door wouldn't open. The lights flickered, and the static grew deafening. Through the noise, a shadow formed on the TV screen, growing clearer until it resembled Ben himself. The shadow smiled and spoke, "You can't run." When Ben's friends came to check on him the next day, his apartment was empty. His phone sat on the table, playing endless static. Theories flooded the internet: a government experiment, a digital curse, or a message from another dimension. But one thing was certain: if you heard your name in the static, it was already too late. When the Garcias moved into their new home, they were delighted to discover an extra room not listed on the blueprints. It was small but cozy, tucked behind the laundry room with a single window that overlooked the backyard. Their teenage son, Ben, claimed it as his own space. He filled it with books, posters, and a beanbag chair, spending hours there after school. But soon he began acting strangely, distant, tired, and jumpy. One night, Ben burst into his parents' room, trembling. "The window doesn't look outside anymore," he whispered. Confused, they followed him to the room. Sure enough, the window no longer showed the backyard, but a black void, faintly pulsing as if alive. Over the next few days, the family tried to avoid the room, but its door would always be open, the darkness inside seeming to creep closer. Then they heard Ben talking to someone. When they confronted him, he said, "It's not a someone. It's the room. It says it's hungry." That night, Ben disappeared. They searched the house, calling his name, but all they found was his phone lying in the center of the extra room. By morning, the room was gone, its door replaced by a solid wall. The Garcias swore it had been there, but no one believed them. Years later, the house's new owners reported hearing faint knocks coming from behind the laundry room wall.
What if all you know about government secrecy was a lie? The eerie world of alien conspiracies depicted in a popular series raises unsettling questions. One chilling theory suggests the existence of a secret project called MK Ultra, where the government experimented on unwitting citizens, blurring lines between reality and fiction. This project, shrouded in darkness, aimed to explore mind control and often included bizarre tests reminiscent of extraterrestrial encounters. The eerie resemblance between these experiments and the show's plotlines implies that fiction may echo true horrors. Are we merely spectators, or are we being watched? Subscribe for more unnerving tales.
The Millers stumbled upon the old clock at a dusty antique shop. It was beautiful, hand-carved wood with intricate gears and a faint chime that felt oddly soothing. The shopkeeper warned them, "This clock keeps more than time," but they laughed it off and brought it home. At first, the clock was a charming centerpiece, but soon its ticking grew louder, echoing through the house even when they weren't near it. The hands moved erratically, sometimes stopping altogether, only to start spinning backward. One night, at exactly 3:33 a.m., the chime rang out, louder than ever before. The family woke to find the house freezing cold, the air heavy. Shadows moved unnaturally, stretching and twisting along the walls. Their son Max was the first to notice the figure, a gaunt man in a tattered suit standing near the clock. His hollow eyes locked onto them as he whispered, "Time's up." The family tried to flee, but every door led back to the living room. The clock's hands spun faster and faster, the chime now deafening. One by one, the Millers vanished, their screams swallowed by the sound of grinding gears. By morning, the house was silent. The clock sat pristine, its hands reset to midnight, waiting patiently for its next owner.
What if all you know about The Simpsons was not just a show, but a chilling prophecy? This iconic series, known for its humor, has eerily predicted major events, from Donald Trump's presidency to the 9/11 attacks. Originating in the late 1980s, some episodes contain bizarre coincidences that have left fans unnerved. One infamous episode featured a monorail system in Springfield, only to have a real-life monorail proposal arise in 1997. Over the years, variations of this theory suggest that the show's creators possess a supernatural foresight. Real-life tragedies seem to echo in its plot lines, leading some viewers to wonder, Is it all just a bizarre coincidence? Or is there something sinister at play? Subscribe for more chilling tales.
It started as a rumor on conspiracy forums. A strange radio frequency, dubbed the Black Signal, could be picked up at exactly 3:03 a.m. on shortwave radios. Those who tuned in claimed to hear a distorted voice delivering cryptic messages, coordinates, or chilling warnings like, "They are watching." Jake, a self-proclaimed conspiracy enthusiast, decided to investigate. He dusted off an old radio, set his alarm for 3 a.m., and tuned in. At first, there was only static. Faintly, a voice emerged, crackling and disjointed. "Do not look outside," it said. Jake froze, heart pounding. Against his better judgment, he glanced at the window. A dark figure stood motionless in the yard, its outline barely visible in the moonlight. The next night, curiosity overtook fear. He tuned in again. This time, the voice whispered coordinates, his exact location. "Leave now," it added. By the third night, the voice grew clearer. "They know you're listening," it hissed. The lights in Jake's house flickered and his phone vibrated. A text appeared. "Stop." Terrified, Jake unplugged the radio and smashed it, but the signal didn't stop. His TV flickered on, displaying static, and the voice returned, louder than ever. "You can't run." The next morning, Jake was gone. His house was empty, save for a single unmarked radio sitting on the table, still tuned to the Black Signal. The forums went silent after that, but some claim the signal still broadcasts, waiting for its next listener.
What if I told you there's a forest so haunted, locals won't set foot in it after dark? Deep in Romania lies the Hoia Baciu Forest, often called the Bermuda Triangle of Transylvania. Known for its twisted trees and eerie silence, the forest is home to countless tales of disappearances, ghostly apparitions, and unexplainable phenomena. Legend has it that a shepherd once entered the forest with 200 sheep, and none of them were ever seen again. Another story speaks of a little girl who vanished, only to reappear years later, unchanged and with no memory of where she'd been. People report feeling watched, sudden nausea, and even strange lights floating between the trees. And then there's the forest's infamous clearing, a perfect circle where nothing grows, said to be a portal to another dimension. Paranormal investigators have recorded bizarre energy readings here, but no one can explain why it exists. Would you dare to enter this forest of nightmares? Subscribe for more spine-chilling tales from around the world.
It started with a strange notification. People would receive a message on their phone that simply said, "You've been scheduled." No sender, no details, just a date and time. Emma got hers at midnight. The notification appeared even though her phone was on airplane mode. "You've been scheduled, 3 a.m. tomorrow." She tried deleting it, but it wouldn't go away. By morning, rumors online revealed others had received the same message. Theories ranged from a viral prank to hackers, but one thing stood out. No one who reached their scheduled time was ever heard from again. Emma stayed awake that night, every light on, clutching her phone. At exactly 3 a.m., the lights flickered, and her phone buzzed. The screen lit up with a live feed of her own living room. In the video, a figure stood behind her. Emma spun around, but the room was empty. The screen now displayed a countdown. Panicked, she tried to call for help, but her phone was locked to the timer. The figure reappeared on the screen, closer now, its face blurred but its intent clear. The countdown hit 0. The screen went black. The next day, Emma's apartment was silent. Her phone lay on the floor, the notification still glowing. "You've been scheduled." Conspiracy theorists claim the notifications are part of a sinister AI experiment or a ritualistic purge, but no one knows who or what is behind it. All they know is when the message comes, you can't escape your appointment. It started with sudden blackouts. Entire neighborhoods plunged into darkness, always at 3 a.m., lasting exactly 13 minutes. When the power returned, residents reported the same thing. Their TVs and radios turned on, broadcasting a faint signal. The broadcast was eerie, distorted voices, static, and a faint, rhythmic tapping. Those who listened too closely swore they heard their own names whispered. Maya, a night owl, decided to investigate. When the blackout hit her street, she lit a candle and turned on her radio. The static came first, then the voices, faint and overlapping. She froze when she heard her name, spoken in her own voice. Suddenly, the tapping grew louder, more deliberate, as if someone or something was inside her house. She grabbed her flashlight and followed the sound to her living room. Her TV had turned on, showing a live feed of her standing there, holding the flashlight. Then the screen flickered, and a shadow appeared behind her in the broadcast. Maya spun around, but the room was empty. The voice from the TV whispered, "You've been chosen." When the power returned, Maya was gone. Her house was left undisturbed, except for the TV, which played static on an endless loop. Conspiracy theorists claim the blackouts are tests for a larger event, a way to identify and take targets. But those who disappear never return, and the broadcasts continue, whispering new names into the night. Flight 717 was a routine red-eye from Chicago to Denver. It was a clear night, and passengers settled in for the short flight. But 45 minutes in, the plane abruptly disappeared from radar. No distress signal, no debris, just gone. The official report blamed a freak electrical malfunction, but conspiracy theorists had other ideas. Some claimed the plane was hijacked by shadowy government forces. Others believed it entered a time slip, or was abducted by something not of this world. Months later, strange reports surfaced. A farmer in Nebraska claimed to see a plane hovering silently in the sky before vanishing. Hikers in Colorado found a field littered with charred airline seats, but no sign of passengers. Then, nearly a year to the day after its disappearance, Flight 717 reappeared. Air traffic controllers in Denver were stunned when the plane landed on an empty runway, its lights flickering. But there was no one on board. The seats were intact, luggage still stowed, and the cockpit was empty. Investigators found only one clue. The plane's black box recorded hours of static, interrupted by a single chilling phrase whispered over and over, "They took us." The plane was quietly dismantled, and officials dismissed the incident as a hoax. But late at night, conspiracy forums buzz with theories. Some say Flight 717 never landed at all, that what returned wasn't the same plane. Others claim to hear faint whispers when passing near the Denver airport, as if the passengers are still calling for help. Clara always closed her curtains before bed, but lately she'd wake to find them slightly open. Her neighbors began mentioning seeing her standing at the window late at night, staring out. "You were just watching," her friend said one morning. "I waved, but you didn't move." Clara laughed nervously. "I was asleep." One night, she stayed awake, determined to catch whatever was happening. At 3 a.m., a faint tapping came from the window. Heart pounding, Clara turned to see a figure standing outside, her own face staring back at her. The shadow smiled and tapped again, its movements jerky and unnatural. "Let me in," it mouthed. Clara backed away, grabbing her phone, but when she looked again, the figure was inside, standing by the window. It moved toward her, its steps perfectly mirroring hers. "You've been living my life," it whispered. "Now it's my turn." Before Clara could scream, the shadow lunged. The next morning, Clara greeted her neighbors with a cheerful smile. But at night, behind the closed curtains, her reflection pressed its hands against the glass, its face twisted in silent, desperate terror.
What if all you know about the Conjuring House was a lie? Originating from real-life events in the 1970s, this infamous location is steeped in horror. The Perron family who moved in experienced unexplained phenomena, whispers, cold spots, and ghostly apparitions. Ed and Lorraine Warren, renowned paranormal investigators, were called to help. They claimed the house was haunted by a witch named Bathsheba Sherman, who once lived there and cursed anyone who dared to take her land. The family's terrifying encounters inspired chilling tales, blurring reality and fiction. Are the Warrens' claims fabricated? Or is something sinister lurking within those walls? Subscribe for more eerie stories.
Jason always dismissed the weird looks people gave him. "You were just here," strangers would say, but Jason would laugh it off. How could he be in two places at once? Then his girlfriend, Emma, started acting distant. "You've been so cold lately," she said one night. Jason was confused. He hadn't seen her all day. Things got worse when he walked into his apartment and heard laughter coming from the living room. He froze. Emma was there, sitting on the couch, talking to someone. It was him. The other Jason turned to look at him, smiling in a way that sent chills down his spine. "You're not supposed to be here," it said, its voice too smooth, too perfect. Jason backed away, but Emma stared at him in confusion. "Jason, what's wrong?" she asked, looking between the two of them. The other Jason stood, its movements unnervingly fluid. "I'm the better version," it said. "You've had your chance." Before Jason could react, the double lunged. When the police arrived hours later, Emma insisted there was only one Jason. But every time he passed a mirror, his reflection stared back with wide, terrified eyes, silently begging for help.
Fans of the beloved 1990s children's show Sunny Friends Club claim a lost episode aired only once before vanishing. Known for its cheerful tone and colorful characters, this episode was different, darker, unsettling, and impossible to find. Rumors spread on forums. Viewers remembered an episode where the characters behaved strangely. The animation was off, the colors muted, and the music warped. Instead of the usual playful antics, the characters wandered aimlessly, mumbling incoherent phrases. The episode ended with the main character staring directly at the screen, their eyes unnaturally wide. A low, droning sound played as they whispered, "We're not safe. Neither are you." Then the screen cut to static. Network executives denied the episode existed, but scattered accounts persisted. Some claimed they felt ill after watching it, plagued by nightmares and paranoia. Others swore they saw symbols flash on the screen, as if hiding a secret message. One former network employee anonymously claimed the episode was a test for subliminal messaging in a government experiment. It was allegedly pulled after its first airing, but not before affecting those who saw it. To this day, no recordings have surfaced. Fans searching for it report strange occurrences, files corrupting, devices crashing, and brief flickers of the main character's face staring lifelessly. Was it a hoax, a cover-up, or something more sinister? All that remains is the whispered name, Sunny Friends Club.
Evan, an IT technician for a government contractor, stumbled upon a hidden folder labeled Project Erebos while fixing a server glitch. Inside were redacted documents, blurry photos, and one video file. It showed a figure strapped to a chair, screaming, with a voice off camera asking, "Have you seen the eyes?" Suddenly, his computer froze, and a message flashed, "This file is not for you." The next day, his badge stopped working, and coworkers avoided him. That night, Evan received a call from a distorted voice. "Delete everything. They're watching." Evan wiped his computer, but it was too late. Black SUVs parked near his house, and strangers stared at him in public. His accounts were frozen. One night, he found his laptop on with the Project Erebos folder open. A new file titled Evan appeared. He clicked it. It was a live feed of his bedroom. Behind him, the closet door creaked open. The next morning, Evan was gone. His apartment was empty, and his digital footprint erased. Conspiracy theorists say Project Erebos is a secret psychological experiment, but no one who finds the file ever survives. It started with an email. Amanda, a freelance journalist, received a message with no sender, just the subject line, "Do you want to know the truth?" Curious, she opened it. Inside was a link and a single phrase, "The Shadow Network is real." The link led to a dark website filled with grainy videos, leaked documents, and cryptic symbols. It claimed that a secret organization controlled everything: governments, corporations, even disasters. The deeper Amanda dove, the more unnerving it became. Names of missing people appeared in files, all listed under the ominous term, erased. Soon, strange things started happening. Her phone would light up with unknown numbers that hung up as soon as she answered. She noticed black SUVs parked near her apartment. One night, her laptop turned on by itself, the screen flashing the words, "Stop digging." But Amanda didn't stop. She downloaded files that hinted at experiments in mind control, weather manipulation, and mass surveillance. One document claimed, "The Shadow Network sees all. Once you've found them, they've already found you." The final straw came when she returned home to find her apartment ransacked. Her laptop and files were gone, but a single note was left on her desk: "You've been warned." Amanda tried to go public, but no one believed her. Her story was buried, her accounts frozen, her life dismantled piece by piece. One day, she vanished entirely. Conspiracy theorists now whisper about the Shadow Network and warn others. If you look for them, they'll make sure no one ever finds you. Deep in the Sahara Desert, a blurry satellite image surfaced online, a massive, black pyramid buried beneath the sand. It wasn't on any map, and official records denied its existence. But conspiracy theorists were certain this was no ordinary structure. A group of explorers set out to find it, live streaming their journey. Days passed with nothing but endless dunes. Then the feed went silent. Hours later, it resumed briefly, showing a massive, obsidian-like pyramid rising from the sand, its surface smooth and impossibly dark. The camera panned shakily as the team entered. Inside, the walls were covered in strange symbols, glowing faintly. The explorers whispered nervously, describing a low hum that seemed to vibrate in their bones. One of them pointed out that their GPS had stopped working. Suddenly, the stream cut to black. No one heard from the team again. Days later, the video vanished from the internet, along with any mention of the pyramid. Those who shared it reported strange knocks at their doors late at night, or their devices mysteriously wiped clean. Some believe the pyramid is an ancient alien structure. Others say it's a government experiment buried in secrecy. But those who look for it often disappear, leaving only one chilling warning behind. Don't go near the Black Pyramid. It doesn't want to be found.
What if I told you that a tiny island off the coast of Australia might hold the key to one of the world's most bizarre disappearances? In 1930, the famous Australian explorer, Frederick Valentich, vanished without a trace while flying over the Bass Strait. The last thing he told air traffic control was that he was being followed by a strange, unidentified flying object. Valentich's plane was never found, and neither was he. But what makes this case even more eerie is the strange radio transmission he sent just before disappearing, describing a craft that seemed to match no known aircraft. Some believe he encountered extraterrestrial life, while others think he met a more earthly fate. To this day, the mystery of Frederick Valentich's disappearance remains unsolved, with some believing the truth is out there. Hit subscribe for more mysterious tales of the unexplained and the unknown. In Zanzibar, a fearsome entity known as Popobawa prowls the night, a shape-shifting demon rumored to attack unsuspecting victims in their sleep. The legend traces back to the 1960s, with reports of its terrifying presence making headlines. Witnesses claim Popobawa can transform into different forms, often described as a bat-like creature. Those who encounter it are left paralyzed with fear, experiencing a suffocating weight on their chests. Some believe it was born from dark magic or ancestral spirits, while others suggest it preys on the guilty. The Popobawa legend has inspired tales of terror, leading to mass hysteria and real-world violence. Dare to explore the dark? Subscribe for more chilling stories. Deep in the heart of Australia's dense eucalyptus forests, an ancient predator waits in silence. The Yara Mayahu, a creature from Aboriginal folklore. Unlike traditional monsters, it needs no weapons. Small and red-skinned, with an oversized head and bulbous eyes, its most unnerving feature is its hands and feet, tipped with sucker-like pads. The Yara Maya, who hunts during the day, perched in the branches of fig trees. It doesn't attack like a beast, but waits patiently for an unsuspecting traveler to rest beneath its tree. Without a sound, it drops down, latching onto its victim and draining their strength through its suckers. But the horror doesn't end there. Legend says the Yara Maiha, who swallows its prey whole, only to regurgitate them moments later. The victim emerges disoriented and changed, shorter, redder, and less human with each encounter. Those who fall prey multiple times are said to transform entirely, becoming Yara Maya, who themselves, forever cursed to haunt the forests. Explorers have told of sudden feelings of dread under fig trees, their energy inexplicably sapped. Some claim to have seen strange, red-skinned figures lurking just out of sight. Whether real or imagined, the warning remains. If you venture into the outback, never rest under the shadow of a fig tree. The Yara Maiha who is always watching, and it's always hungry. What if I told you the word abracadabra wasn't just a magician's trick, but an ancient spell tied to forces we barely understand? A word whispered through centuries, carrying a power both feared and revered. Its origins are cloaked in mystery. Some believe it comes from the Aramaic phrase, "I create as I speak," spoken to invoke creation or destruction. Others link it to Abraxas, a name tied to ancient demons and forbidden secrets. In the 2nd century, Roman healers used it in rituals to banish sickness. They wrote it in a triangular pattern, the letters vanishing line by line, as if erasing a curse, or calling something darker into being. But what if abracadabra was never meant for healing? What if its true purpose was to summon forces lurking in the shadows, waiting to answer when we speak its name? If this sends chills down your spine, subscribe now and join us as we explore more tales of the unknown. What if I told you about the black-eyed children, a mysterious and terrifying phenomenon that has been reported around the world? Imagine this. It's late at night, and there's an unexpected knock at your door. You peek outside and see two children standing there, their heads slightly lowered. They speak softly, asking to come in, maybe to use your phone or wait for a ride. At first, they seem ordinary, but something feels deeply wrong. Then you notice their eyes, completely black. No whites, no pupils, just endless voids staring back at you. Witnesses describe feeling a chilling, unexplainable fear in their presence. The children are eerily calm, but their persistence is unsettling, almost hypnotic. Legends warn that letting them in could bring catastrophe, though the true consequences remain unknown. No one knows where they come from or what they are. Spirits? Aliens? Demons? Their existence defies explanation, and their intentions remain a sinister mystery. So, if you ever hear a knock at night and see a pair of black, soulless eyes on the other side, remember, some doors are better left unopened. Subscribe for more haunting tales.
La Llorona, or the Weeping Woman, is a haunting figure in Latin American folklore, particularly in Mexico. Her tale begins with a beautiful woman named Maria, who fell in love with a wealthy man. After giving birth to 2 children, he abandoned her, leading to her madness. In a fit of rage and despair, she drowned her children in a river, only to realize her tragic mistake moments later. Consumed by grief, she took her own life. Legends say her spirit roams rivers and lakes, weeping for her lost children, luring the unsuspecting to their doom. Variations of the story exist, often warning children to avoid the water at night, fearing the sorrowful wails of La Llorona, a reminder of lost love and regret. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. The chupacabra, a fearsome creature, first emerged in Puerto Rico in the 1990s, where it was blamed for the mysterious deaths of livestock, particularly goats. Eyewitness accounts describe it as a reptilian beast with sharp fangs and glowing eyes. Various reports from Mexico and the United States highlight its ability to drain the blood of animals, leaving behind lifeless bodies. Over the years, many interpretations of the legend have surfaced, from a government experiment gone wrong to an alien creature. Sightings and eerie noises in the night keep the legend alive, making the chupacabra a symbol of fear and fascination in Latin American folklore. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.
In the summer of 1876, a series of brutal murders rocked St. John's Wood, a quiet suburb of London. The victims, all women, were found in their homes, each showing signs of violent struggle. The police were baffled, as the killer left no clues. Panic swept through the neighborhood, and residents began to fear the dark shadows creeping in their streets. Victims included a young servant girl and an elderly widow, heightening the horror of the attacks. The relentless media coverage turned the case into a public spectacle, with sensational tales capturing the imagination of the public. Despite extensive investigations, the identity of the killer remained shrouded in mystery, leaving an indelible mark on London's dark history. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, please consider subscribing. Your support really helps me create more videos and share interesting stories. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching.
The chupacabra, a fearsome creature, first emerged in Puerto Rico in the 1990s, where it was blamed for the mysterious deaths of livestock, particularly goats. Eyewitness accounts describe it as a reptilian beast with sharp fangs and glowing eyes. Various reports from Mexico and the United States highlight its ability to drain the blood of animals, leaving behind lifeless bodies. Over the years, many interpretations of the legend have surfaced, from a government experiment gone wrong to an alien creature. Sightings and eerie noises in the night keep the legend alive, making the chupacabra a symbol of fear and fascination in Latin American folklore. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. La Llorona, or the Weeping Woman, is a haunting figure in Latin American folklore, particularly in Mexico. Her tale begins with a beautiful woman named Maria, who fell in love with a wealthy man. After giving birth to 2 children, he abandoned her, leading to her madness. In a fit of rage and despair, she drowned her children in a river, only to realize her tragic mistake moments later. Consumed by grief, she took her own life. Legends say her spirit roams rivers and lakes, weeping for her lost children, luring the unsuspecting to their doom. Variations of the story exist, often warning children to avoid the water at night, fearing the sorrowful wails of La Llorona, a reminder of lost love and regret. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.
Emma loved exploring her new home, especially the attic. One night, while her parents slept, she heard soft whispers from above. Intrigued, she grabbed her flashlight and climbed the creaky stairs. The air was thick and cold, sending shivers down her spine. As she reached the top, the whispers grew louder, a cacophony of hushed voices calling her name. "Emma, come play." The beam of her flashlight flickered, revealing a dusty old mirror, its surface smeared and cracked. Suddenly, the whispering stopped. Emma leaned closer, entranced. In the reflection, shadows loomed behind her, grinning. She turned, but nothing was there. The next morning, her parents found only the mirror, and Emma was gone, forever trapped in the whispers. The Wendigo is a legendary creature from Algonquin folklore, symbolizing the dangers of greed and cannibalism. Originating from the cold forests of Canada, it is depicted as a gaunt, emaciated figure with an insatiable hunger for human flesh. The legend tells of individuals who, in times of famine, resorted to cannibalism, ultimately transforming into a Wendigo. Over the years, various accounts have emerged, painting the Wendigo as a cautionary tale against selfishness and moral decay. Real-life occurrences of mysterious disappearances in the wilderness have fueled the legend's chilling aura, leaving an indelible mark on both indigenous culture and modern horror narratives. Emma loved exploring her new home, especially the attic. One night, while her parents slept, she heard soft whispers from above. Intrigued, she grabbed her flashlight and climbed the creaky stairs. The air was thick and cold, sending shivers down her spine. As she reached the top, the whispers grew louder, a cacophony of hushed voices calling her name. "Emma, come play." The beam of her flashlight flickered, revealing a dusty old mirror, its surface smeared and cracked. Suddenly, the whispering stopped. Emma leaned closer, entranced. In the reflection, shadows loomed behind her, grinning. She turned, but nothing was there. The next morning, her parents found only the mirror, and Emma was gone, forever trapped in the whispers. Emma loved exploring her new home, especially the attic. One night, while her parents slept, she heard soft whispers from above. Intrigued, she grabbed her flashlight and climbed the creaky stairs. The air was thick and cold, sending shivers down her spine. As she reached the top, the whispers grew louder, a cacophony of hushed voices calling her name. "Emma, come play." The beam of her flashlight flickered, revealing a dusty old mirror, its surface smeared and cracked. Suddenly, the whispering stopped. Emma leaned closer, entranced. In the reflection, shadows loomed behind her, grinning. She turned, but nothing was there. The next morning, her parents found only the mirror, and Emma was gone, forever trapped in the whispers. In the heart of the Whispering Woods, locals speak of strange occurrences. It began with the disappearance of a hiker, a young woman named Clara, who ventured into the forest seeking solitude. Days later, her belongings were found scattered beneath an ancient oak, the air thick with an unsettling silence. Those who approached the tree reported hearing whispers, as if the woods themselves were alive, sharing secrets. Inspired by real events from 1960s rural folklore, the whispers grew louder, drawing unsuspecting visitors. Some claimed to see shadows flitting between trees, while others felt unseen hands brush against them, urging them deeper into the darkness. The Whispering Woods became a place of dread, where curiosity turned to terror. In a dusty attic, a forgotten dollhouse stands eerily still. Each room reflects the lives of the family that once inhabited it, yet whispers of tragedy linger in the air. The dollhouse belonged to the Thompson family, whose tragic fate remains shrouded in mystery. Neighbors spoke of strange noises and shadows flickering at night. One evening, a fire consumed their home, leaving only this dollhouse intact. Local legends say it's a vessel for their restless spirits. Visitors claim to hear faint cries from its tiny rooms and feel a chill when peering through its windows. The dolls, eerily lifelike, seem to watch every move. What secrets do they conceal, waiting for someone brave enough to uncover the truth? Waverly Hills Sanatorium, once a refuge for tuberculosis patients, now looms abandoned, cloaked in mystery. Built in 1910, it became notorious for its gruesome treatments and high mortality rates. Many patients reportedly roamed the halls, desperate for relief. Folklore speaks of Room 502, where a nurse allegedly took her own life, her spirit forever trapped, luring curious souls. Visitors recount chilling encounters, whispers, shadows darting in the corners, and the sense of being watched. The infamous body chute served as a dark passageway, further deepening the macabre aura. Today, Waverly Hills stands as a chilling reminder of suffering, beckoning ghost hunters and thrill seekers alike into its haunted embrace. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. In the 1980s, a series of devastating house fires in the UK sparked a chilling legend, the Crying Boy painting. This artwork, depicting a sorrowful boy, was said to bring misfortune to its owners. As flames consumed homes, investigators noticed a disturbing pattern. Most of the victims owned a copy of this painting. Tales emerged of the painting's origins. It was created by the artist Giovanni Bragolin, who legend claims was inspired by a tragic story of a boy orphaned by a fire. As the fires spread, unsettling stories of the painting's curse grew, leading to public outcry. People began to destroy or rid themselves of the paintings, hoping to escape the chilling grip of this haunted artwork. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. In 1922, the Hinterkaifeck murders stunned Germany. The Gruber family, consisting of Andreas, his wife Cecilia, their daughter Victoria, son Josef, and the maid Maria, were brutally killed in their isolated farmhouse. Days before the murders, Andreas discovered strange footprints in the snow leading to the house but found no signs of anyone. The family reported eerie sounds and a mysterious stranger lurking nearby. On the night of the murders, the farm remained eerily quiet, but the horrific aftermath revealed gruesome details. The perpetrator was never found, and theories erupted, ranging from family disputes to a vengeful spirit. The case remains one of Germany's most perplexing and chilling mysteries. Poveglia Island, a small landmass in the Venetian lagoon, holds a sinister reputation. From the 14th century, it served as a quarantine station for plague victims, with many meeting a gruesome end. The island transformed into a mental asylum in the late 19th century, where cruel experiments were conducted. Patients often reported sightings of dark figures and heard eerie voices. After its closure in the 1960s, the island became abandoned, shrouded in legends of restless spirits. Locals claim that the soil is infused with the ashes of the dead. Today, Poveglia stands as a chilling reminder of human suffering, attracting thrill seekers and ghost hunters alike who seek to uncover its dark past. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. La Llorona, or the Weeping Woman, is a haunting figure in Latin American folklore. Originating in Mexico, her story varies across regions, but the essence remains the same: a sorrowful woman who lost her children. According to legend, she drowned them in a fit of rage and, overcome by grief, now wanders rivers and lakes, crying for them. This tale serves as a cautionary warning to children about the dangers of straying too close to water. Some accounts suggest that La Llorona was once a beautiful woman named Maria who fell in love with a wealthy man. When he abandoned her, she sought revenge, leading to her tragic fate. Her mournful wails echo through the night, chilling anyone who dares to listen. Poveglia Island, a small landmass in the Venetian lagoon, holds a sinister reputation. From the 14th century, it served as a quarantine station for plague victims, with many meeting a gruesome end. The island transformed into a mental asylum in the late 19th century, where cruel experiments were conducted. Patients often reported sightings of dark figures and heard eerie voices. After its closure in the 1960s, the island became abandoned, shrouded in legends of restless spirits. Locals claim that the soil is infused with the ashes of the dead. Today, Poveglia stands as a chilling reminder of human suffering, attracting thrill seekers and ghost hunters alike who seek to uncover its dark past. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.
In Japan, whispers of Kuchisake Onna, the slit-mouthed woman, haunt the night. Originating in the Edo period, this vengeful spirit is said to wear a surgical mask, concealing a horrifying secret. Her mouth is slit from ear to ear. Legend claims she was a beautiful woman, betrayed by her husband, who mutilated her in a fit of rage. Now she roams city streets, asking victims if she's beautiful. If they answer truthfully, she reveals her disfigurement and asks, "How about now?" The terrified response often leads to a gruesome fate. This eerie tale has inspired countless stories and urban legends, blurring the line between reality and myth. Subscribe for more chilling tales.
In the depths of winter, Yuki Onna, the snow woman, emerges from the swirling snowstorms of Japan. This ethereal figure, draped in white, is said to lure weary travelers with her beauty and icy charm. Legends claim she was once a young woman who perished in a blizzard, transformed into a vengeful spirit. Her victims, entranced by her allure, are led to frozen graves, their breath visible in the frigid air. Variations of the tale exist, some depicting her as a benevolent spirit who saves children from the cold. However, the chilling essence remains. Encountering Yuki Onna often signifies doom. Dare to tread carefully in her snowy realm, and remember, the cold may not be the only danger lurking. Subscribe for more eerie tales. In Korea, the legend of Cheonyo Gaksi, or the ghostly bride, sends shivers through the spines of young men. It is said that she appears on rainy nights, dressed in a white wedding gown, her face obscured by a veil. Originating from a tale of a jilted bride who died tragically on her wedding day, she now haunts the living with her sorrowful wails. Victims describe her voice as enchanting, compelling them to follow her into the darkness. Some variations suggest she seeks revenge, while others portray her as a tragic figure yearning for love. Real encounters have been reported, where men vanish after seeing her. Beware the whispers of the night, for Cheonyo Gaksi's allure can be deadly. Subscribe for more chilling tales. In the dense forests of Rajasthan, India, the legend of Churel Ki Dulhan, or the Bride of the Churel, stirs fear among villagers. They say that on moonless nights, a ghostly woman appears along the winding village paths, dressed in an ornate red bridal lehenga. Her face is hidden by a thick veil, and she floats just above the ground, her anklets chiming in the silent night. According to the story, she was a bride abandoned on her wedding night. Betrayed and heartbroken, she wandered into the forest, never to return. Now, she haunts those same paths, seeking the companionship that was denied to her in life. Travelers and villagers tell of encountering her. Her voice is soft, almost musical, luring them into the forest. If someone follows, it's said they become enchanted, wandering deeper and deeper until they disappear, never to be seen again. Some say the Churail Ki Dulhan is merely a tragic figure, lonely and searching for solace. But others warn that she is vengeful, taking men into the forest to suffer the same fate she endured. True or not, villagers still avoid the forest paths on dark nights, wary of the bride's mournful call. Beware of the haunting allure of the Churail Ki Dulhan. for her sorrow could turn deadly. Subscribe for more chilling tales from India and beyond. In the quiet villages of Karnataka, India, the haunting legend of Na Ale Ba, or the night visitor, sends shivers through the community. According to the tale, a vengeful spirit roams the streets at night, knocking on doors and calling out in familiar voices, often sounding like a friend or family member. Her goal? To lure people out of their homes. But those who answer her call are never seen again. Locals believe Na Ale Ba is the restless spirit of a bride who suffered betrayal, cursed to wander the villages forever, searching for companionship or revenge. To protect themselves, villagers began writing Na Ale Ba on their doors, Canada for come tomorrow, hoping to confuse her, tricking her into leaving them alone for just one more night. The story of Na Ale Ba has become a powerful part of Karnataka's folklore, inspiring cautionary traditions and even influencing popular culture. While some dismiss it as a myth, many still heed the warning, locking their doors tightly and avoiding the whispers of the night. Beware the knocks after dark, for it might just be Na Ale Ba, the night visitor. Subscribe for more eerie legends and mysteries. In the small village of Lalapur, India, a legend whispers through the trees, the tale of the Chudale, a ghostly woman in white. Many believe she was once a devoted wife, wronged and betrayed, who perished under mysterious circumstances. Her spirit, consumed by rage, now roams the night, luring men with her beauty before revealing her true, horrifying form. Locals claim to hear her mournful wails echoing through the dark, often followed by eerie silence. Variations of the tale suggest she seeks revenge on unfaithful husbands. Some villagers recount chilling encounters, claiming she appears at dusk, her long hair billowing, eyes glowing with vengeance. Beware the Chudale, her sorrow may cost you your soul. Subscribe for more haunting tales. In East Anglia, the legend of Black Shuck looms large. This ghostly hound, known for its massive size and glowing eyes, is said to roam the countryside, bringing terror to those who encounter it. Originating in the 12th century, tales of Shuck often describe it appearing near churches and graveyards, signaling doom. Variants of the legend claim that seeing the hound foretells death or disaster. Some believe it is a manifestation of lost souls, while others think it is a guardian of the dead. Eyewitness accounts describe a chilling presence, sometimes accompanied by a deep growl. Black Shuck remains a haunting symbol of fear and mystery in English folklore. Subscribe for more chilling tales. The Banshee, a spectral figure from Irish folklore, is known as a harbinger of death. Traditionally depicted as a woman in white or gray, her mournful wail signals the impending demise of a family member. The legend has origins that trace back to ancient Celtic beliefs, where she was seen as a fairy or goddess of death. Variations abound. Some say she appears as a beautiful maiden, others as a haggard old woman. Reports of real encounters have surfaced over centuries, often linked to tragic events. People claim to have heard her chilling cries, foretelling their loved one's passing. The Banshee remains a potent symbol of sorrow in Irish culture. Subscribe for more chilling tales. Aokigahara, known as Japan's suicide forest, lies at the foot of Mount Fuji, a place both serene and eerie. This dense woodland is steeped in legends of yurei, or restless spirits, believed to wander among the trees. The forest's haunting allure has led many to seek solace in its depths, but the silence conceals a darker truth. Originating in the 19th century, tales of despair intertwined with folklore, leading to its grim association. Some say the spirits of those lost to despair linger, whispering to wanderers, drawing them deeper. Real events, like the alarming number of suicides, only add to its chilling reputation. Dare to tread the path, but beware the darkness that pursues. Subscribe for more eerie tales. In the dense jungles of Southeast Asia, the legend of the Pontianak haunts the night. This vengeful spirit, believed to be the restless soul of a woman who died during childbirth, emerges under the moonlight, seeking revenge on unsuspecting men. Her disheveled hair covers a pale face, and her wails echo through the trees, signaling her presence. Stories tell of men disappearing after crossing her path, their screams swallowed by the darkness. Variations of the legend speak of her enticing victims with beauty before revealing her true form. Some say she can be appeased, but others urge caution. Beware the night, for the Pontianak is ever watchful. Subscribe for more chilling tales. In Korean folklore, the Gumiho is a nine-tailed fox spirit, a shapeshifter known for its beauty and cunning. Originating from ancient tales, this creature is said to transform into a stunning woman to lure unsuspecting men. However, beneath its alluring exterior lies a dark hunger. The Gumiho craves human hearts to sustain its existence. Variations of the legend exist, with some depicting the Gumiho as a tragic figure, cursed to roam the earth for eternity. Real events, such as unexplained disappearances near remote villages, have fueled the myth. The Gumiho's story serves as a haunting reminder of desire and deception. Subscribe for more chilling legends from around the world. In the heart of Asia lies the Whispering Woods, a forest steeped in chilling legends. Locals tell of ancient spirits that wander the trees, whispering secrets to lure unsuspecting travelers. Originating from stories passed down through generations, these woods have become a cautionary tale for those who dare to enter after dusk. Many speak of hearing their names called softly, drawing them deeper into the shadows. Variations of the tale suggest that those who heed the whispers may never return. Some believe real events inspired these tales, with missing persons linked to the cursed woods. As night falls, silence envelops the forest, leaving only the haunting whispers. Subscribe for more chilling tales.
If you're a fan of the spooky and mysterious, you need to hear these 5 creepy superstitions from around the world. In Russia, whistling indoors is a no-no. They believe it invites evil spirits and financial ruin. Moving to Japan, don't stick your chopsticks upright in rice. It's a bad omen, resembling incense at funerals. Ever heard of the evil eye? In Middle Eastern cultures, this glare can curse you with bad luck. Protect yourself with a blue talisman called a nazar. In Spain, Tuesday the 13th is their unlucky day. They say on a Tuesday, don't get married or embark on a journey. And finally, in Mexico, sweeping someone's feet means they'll never get married. So, be careful with that broom. Superstitions might seem silly, but they're a fascinating peek into cultural fears and beliefs. What superstitions do you follow? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this eerie journey, hit the like button and subscribe for more.
In the shadowy waters of the Philippine seas, the legend of the Sirena haunts fishermen and sailors alike. This enchanting siren, often depicted as a beautiful woman with the tail of a fish, is said to lure men with her mesmerizing voice. Originating from local folklore, tales of the Sirena vary. Some say she was a mortal woman heartbroken by a sailor, cursed to seek vengeance. Others claim she protects the sea, luring greedy fishermen to their demise. Real-life accounts of missing boats and drowned sailors have fueled these chilling stories. The siren's call is irresistible, echoing through the waves, a reminder that some treasures come at a deadly price. Subscribe for more tales of terror. In the dark jungles of Malaysia, the legend of the Orang Minyak, or Oily Man, sends shivers down spines. This spectral figure, covered in thick black oil, is said to emerge at night, preying on unsuspecting women. Originating from tales of a cursed man, the Orang Minyak is believed to have been a Malay who, after being rejected, turned to dark magic for revenge. Variations of the story depict him as a tortured soul, forever trapped between the living and the dead. Real-life accounts include mysterious disappearances linked to sightings of this eerie figure. As the night falls, remember, the Orang Minyak may be lurking just beyond the shadows. Subscribe for more chilling tales. Maria was home alone, scrolling through her phone late at night when she got a text from her mom. "I'm almost home. Don't forget to lock the doors." Her stomach dropped. Her mom was already home. Maria had said goodnight to her hours ago and watched her walk into her bedroom. Trying to calm herself, she replied, "What do you mean? You're already here." A few seconds later, another text came through. "No, I'm still at work. Who's in the house with you?" Maria's breath hitched. Her hands trembled as she slowly crept toward her mom's room. Her heart pounded with every step. She pressed her ear against the door but heard nothing. Gathering her courage, Maria turned the doorknob and peeked inside. The bed was empty. Her phone buzzed again. This time the message read, Sweetheart, if you're in the house, don't go near it. Suddenly, the sound of slow, deliberate footsteps echoed down the hall behind her. And then, close, far too close, she heard a low whisper. Why didn't you lock the doors, Maria? In the shadowy waters of Japan's rivers lurks the kappa, a terrifying creature known for its green skin and turtle-like shell. Originating from ancient folklore, this river demon is said to lure unsuspecting victims to their doom. The kappa's most infamous trait? A dish filled with water atop its head, which holds its power. If it spills, it becomes weak. Tales warn of children disappearing near rivers, dragged into the abyss by this malevolent being. Some say the kappa steals souls for sustenance. Variations across regions depict it as both mischievous and deadly. Encountering a kappa is a chilling reminder to respect nature's depths. Subscribe for more chilling tales. The legend of the Pontianak, rooted in Malay folklore, tells of a vengeful spirit of a woman who died during childbirth. Her sorrow transforms her into a haunting figure, often described as a pale woman with long black hair and blood-red eyes. The Pontianak is known to lure men with her beautiful cries, only to reveal her true form when they approach. She seeks revenge on those who wronged her in life, often targeting unfaithful husbands. Variations of the tale exist across Indonesia and Malaysia, with some claiming she can be placated by burying a knife under her grave. Encounters with the Pontianak have left many terrified, warning us to tread carefully at night. Subscribe for more chilling stories. In the heart of Vietnam, whispered tales tell of the wailing woman of the river. Legend has it she was once a loving mother, tragically losing her child to the river's depths. Consumed by grief, she now roams the riverbanks, her mournful cries echoing through the night. Locals say her presence brings misfortune, and many have reported eerie sightings, a pale figure draped in white, searching desperately as the waters lap against the shore. Variations of her story abound. Some claim she lures children close, while others warn of her vengeful spirit. Those who hear her cries are urged to leave offerings, lest they become her next victims. Subscribe for more chilling tales from the shadows. In the dim alleys of an abandoned town, whispered stories speak of the cartoon cat, a grinning, otherworldly figure with long, elastic limbs and jet-black fur. Legend says this creature was born from forgotten animations, left to decay in the void between reels. Now it stalks the edges of reality, lurking in shadowy corners where no light can reach. Those who encounter Cartoon Cat describe its unsettling appearance. A distorted smile too wide for its face, hollow eyes that seem to pierce through you, and an eerie, static-filled laugh that sends shivers down the spine. Some say it preys on curiosity, luring victims with its cartoonish charm, before revealing its monstrous nature. Others believe it feeds on fear, growing stronger with every scream. The truth behind Cartoon Cat remains a mystery, but one thing is certain. When the world feels too quiet and the shadows stretch unnaturally long, beware. It might be closer than you think. Subscribe for more spine-chilling legends from the dark corners of imagination. In Irish folklore, the Dullahan is a terrifying figure, a headless horseman who rides a black steed, carrying his own head under one arm. This eerie specter is said to appear at night, signaling the imminent death of a person. The origins of the Dullahan are steeped in ancient Celtic beliefs about the supernatural. Variations of the legend describe him using a whip made from a human spine, and his head's hollow eye sockets glow with a ghastly light. Folklore tells of real events where the Dullahan's appearance heralded death, making him both a harbinger of doom and a terrifying figure in the shadows. His chilling presence still echoes in Irish culture today. Subscribe for more. Deep in the shadow of Mount Fuji lies Aokigahara, known as Japan's suicide forest. This dense woodland, rich with lush trees, is steeped in tragedy and despair. The legend dates back centuries, linked to the practice of ubasuti, where the elderly were abandoned. A haunting atmosphere permeates the forest, amplified by the sounds of eerie silence. Many have wandered its paths seeking solace, only to find their final resting place. Reports of ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena add to its chilling lore. Real-life events have drawn attention, with signs urging visitors to reconsider. Aokigahara remains a chilling reminder of grief and lost souls. Subscribe for more spine-tingling tales. Deep within the heart of Rajasthan's Thar Desert lies Kuldara, a ghostly village shrouded in mystery and sorrow. Abandoned overnight over 2 centuries ago, its crumbling ruins whisper tales of betrayal and vengeance. Legend has it that Kuldara was once a thriving settlement of the Palawal Brahmins, a prosperous community known for their wisdom and wealth. But prosperity came at a cost. A cruel and corrupt minister, Salim Singh, demanded an exorbitant tax and sought the hand of a village chief's daughter. Faced with his tyranny, the villagers chose a path of defiance. In the dead of night, they vanished without a trace, leaving behind homes, temples, and a chilling curse. No one would ever inhabit Kuldara again. To this day, locals report eerie sounds echoing through the ruins. Shadows seem to move in the moonlight, and visitors speak of an oppressive energy that lingers in the air. Despite repeated attempts to resettle the village, misfortune befalls anyone who dares. Kuldara stands as a haunting monument to despair and defiance, frozen in time. What truly happened that fateful night remains one of India's enduring mysteries. Subscribe for more haunting legends and untold secrets. In the deserts of the American Southwest, the legend of the Skinwalker strikes fear into the hearts of the Navajo people. Known as Yi-Naldlushi, these malevolent shapeshifters are said to be witches who can transform into animals or mimic human voices. Originating from ancient Navajo traditions, Skinwalkers are believed to gain their powers through dark rituals, often involving the desecration of a loved one's grave. Reports of encounters tell of eerie sounds, shadowy figures, and sudden animal attacks. Some even claim to have seen them in their transformed state. Beware the chilling tales, for under the full moon, they may be lurking. Subscribe for more spine-tingling stories. In Japan, the legend of Teke Teke tells of a girl who met a gruesome fate, severed in half by a train. Her spirit, filled with rage and sorrow, became Teke Teke, a vengeful ghost. She haunts the urban landscapes, dragging her upper body, emitting a terrifying sound that echoes her name. Originating in the early 20th century, the tale has evolved through local retellings, often warning children to be cautious at night. Some claim Teke Teke seeks revenge on those who cross her path, appearing in school bathrooms or near train stations. Many believe the legend was inspired by real-life accidents, making her story all the more chilling. Subscribe for more spine-tingling tales. What if I told you that deep within Kenya lies a forest shrouded in mystery? The whispering forest of Kajabe is infamous for its ghostly voices that echo among the trees. Locals believe these whispers are the souls of those who perished tragically in the area. The origin of this haunting can be traced back to a devastating train accident in the early 1900s, where numerous lives were lost. As the story goes, on foggy nights, passers-by report hearing soft, mournful cries and pleading voices. Variations of the tale suggest that the whispers can lure unsuspecting travelers into the depths of the forest, leading them to disappear without a trace. Subscribe for more chilling stories that will keep you awake at night. What if I told you about the Abiku, a haunting presence in Yoruba mythology? These are the spirits of children who die young, only to return to the living. Legends say they are born to families destined for tragedy, coming and going as they please. Their return is often marked by strange occurrences and the scent of decay. Families, desperate to keep their children safe, have been known to perform rituals to bind these spirits. Variations of the tale exist, with some saying the Abiku is a trickster, luring others to their fate. Stories of real-life encounters add to the terror, leaving many to wonder about the true nature of these elusive spirits. Subscribe for more chilling tales. What if I told you about the Shaneks, mischievous spirits from the dense forests of Mexico? These elusive entities, rooted in the folklore of the Veracruz region, are said to protect the jungle from intruders. Legends claim that those who venture too deep into the forest without respect for nature may fall victim to the Chaneks, who lead them astray. The lost wanderers, confused and disoriented, might hear faint laughter or footsteps echoing in the distance, only to find themselves in the same spot they started, trapped in a loop. Some say these spirits can transform into animals, or even shadows, blending with the trees. Are you bold enough to face these crafty guardians of the wild? Subscribe for more eerie tales from the heart of the unknown. Did you know that a ghost once solved its own murder? In 1897, the Greenbrier ghost of West Virginia became a key figure in a chilling and extraordinary case. Elvazona Heaster was found dead under mysterious circumstances, and her husband, Erasmus Shue, claimed it was a natural death. But Elva's mother, Mary Jane, had a different story. She said Elva's ghost appeared to her, revealing that Erasmus had strangled her in a fit of rage. This shocking revelation led to the exhumation of Elva's body, where an autopsy confirmed the ghost's claims. Erasmus was convicted of murder, making this one of the few cases where the supernatural helped bring justice. For more spine-chilling tales, hit subscribe and explore the mysteries of the unknown. What if I told you about the Tokoloshi, a notorious creature from South African folklore? This mischievous spirit is said to be a small, hairy humanoid, often described as having a huge head and glowing red eyes. Originating from Zulu mythology, the Tokoloshi is believed to crawl into the beds of unsuspecting victims, causing nightmares and sometimes even death. Its lore varies, with some tales saying it can be summoned by witches, or that it can be controlled with a wooden peg placed under the bed. In reality, the Tokoloshi reflects deep-seated fears in society, often intertwined with real events of unexplained misfortune. Could it be that the Tokoloshi truly lingers in the shadows? Subscribe for more haunting tales. From the depths of Scottish folklore emerges the Nuckalavee, a grotesque horse demon with a human torso, its skin a sickly shade. Originating from Orkney Islands, this creature is said to rise from the sea, leaving destruction in its wake. It is believed to be a harbinger of disease and famine, manifesting when crops fail. Legends vary. Some say it preys on livestock, while others claim it seeks vengeance on those who disrespect nature. The chilling accounts of villagers encountering it evoke a sense of dread, as its horrific visage and sulphurous breath haunt their nights. The Nuckalavee serves as a stark reminder of nature's fury and the ancient beliefs that still chill the heart. Subscribe for more eerie tales. What if I told you about a creature that doesn't just stalk its prey, but becomes their shadow? In the remote villages of North India, there's a chilling legend of the Andhera Jagran, or the darkness stalker, a sinister being that thrives in the twilight hours. The Andhera Jagran is said to attach itself to a person by merging with their shadow, invisible to the naked eye. It waits patiently, feeding on their energy until the victim grows weak, pale, and collapses. The only way to survive is to recognize the creature before it fully takes hold. But here's the twist. Once someone realizes their shadow is not their own, they must trap it in total darkness before sunrise. If they fail, the creature consumes not just their life, but their identity, leaving behind an empty shell of a person, forgotten and unrecognizable. Strange, distorted shadows and mysterious deaths have haunted locals for generations, especially during new moons when the world is at its darkest. Is this a warning to respect the unseen forces of the night, or does the darkness stalker still roam, silently waiting for its next victim? In the shadowy mountains of Japan, the legend of Yamamba, the mountain witch, lurks. Known for her long hair and eerie green skin, she is said to lure travelers to her lair. Originating from ancient folklore, Yamamba embodies the fears of the wild, representing both nature's beauty and its peril. Variations of her tale reveal her as a cannibalistic figure, preying on lost souls, driven by loneliness and despair. Some believe she was inspired by real-life events of people disappearing in the mountains. As stories spread, Yamamba became a cautionary figure, warning against venturing into the unknown. Beware, for she may still wander the trails, searching for her next meal. Subscribe for more chilling tales. In the heart of Indian folklore lies the haunting tale of the Churels, cursed women doomed to roam the earth as vengeful spirits, originating from tales passed down through generations. These spectral beings are said to be the restless souls of women who suffered betrayal or mistreatment, particularly after childbirth. With their long hair draped over their faces and feet turned backward, they lure unsuspecting men into dark forests. Variations of the legend suggest that they seek revenge on those who wronged them, using their charm to ensnare their victims. There are whispered accounts of men who vanished without a trace, believed to be claimed by these malevolent spirits. Subscribe for more chilling stories like this one.